I'm Dele Olawale of Dell and Co Solicitors. Contact us for advice and representation and advocacy in all areas of immigration law. We take your case from the onset until the conclusion of the case. We provide a one-stop service and we provide advice and representation and advocacy.
Dell & Co Solicitors. We're friendly, professional and cost effective. A one-stop shop for immigration affairs as we take your case from the onset and represent you in court if necessary. Located at 659 Green Lanes, Haringey, London, N80QY. We're only 4 minutes walk from the Turnpike Lane tube station on the Piccadilly line. Call 0208 880 9393. That's 0208 880 9393 for more information.
Dell and Co Solicitors. Legal advice you can rely on.
Hello viewers, welcome to today's program on immigration matters. My name is Nana Checha and with me in the studio is Mr. Dele Olawale of Dell & Co Solicitors. Welcome to the show, sir.
You're looking good.
Thank you. So, would you like to tell our viewers what this program is about?
This program is about educating immigrants and citizens alike on their immigration rights and obligations. This program has been going on for many years, and it is an attempt to make immigration law simple, because even lawyers are struggling with the ever-changing landscape of immigration law. Even judges are struggling because the law keeps changing. So it is therefore difficult for ordinary members of the public to understand what is going on. So what we do on this program is to make a contribution to the society, to take the law, make it simple, highlight areas of that could be of interest to both citizens and immigrants alike. So you may be wondering, what has it got to do with citizens? Well, we have citizens who get married to non-immigrants or who are proposing to get married to have a relationship with people who are not from the EEA. Also, you may have situations where you have friends who are going through challenges with the immigration authority. And when we talk of challenges, there are loads of challenges out there. So what this program is about is to educate people, and it's been going on for many years. If this is your first time of watching, don't check the diet. It's the best place to be. Thank you.
Wow, so immigration is 2017. What is the year looking like?
It is like preparing for the kingdom of heaven. We don't know what it's going to be like. And now, the government are always looking at ways of regulating the influx of non-nationals into the United Kingdom. Now looking at the Prime Minister, who recently released the white paper on Brexit. We don't know what she's keeping her games to her chest. Now they've asked us repeatedly to say something about the fate of EEA nationals living in the United Kingdom. Will they be allowed to stay? Will they be allowed to go? Is there going to be a cut-off date? And how many years have they got to be here before they will be allowed to stay or to go when we finally leave the EEA? She's not saying anything. So it is shrouded in mystery when it comes to the fate of EEA nationals. And when we talk of immigrants from outside the European Union also, their fate is unknown. But what we have seen is that there is increasingly situations where they are out of country right of appeals for majority of immigration categories. So what happens is you are refused here and you are sent to your country to go and appeal. And in most cases, practitioners know that that is usually the end of your case, because once you are in your country, what you do is you battle to even stay, to recover from the trauma of being deported or being removed, not to talk of fighting to come back to the United Kingdom. And also the financial resources to come back becomes very difficult. It becomes a high mountain, too difficult to climb. So we don't know What we can do is to just work with what we have at the moment and watch for the miracles that will be performed by the Home Office and Theresa May and the Immigration Minister and the UK Visas and Immigration, whatever they are called.
So what are the challenges that the immigrants are facing under the current immigration law?
Oh, there are many challenges. For example, if you look at the immigration route for overstayers, you have to live here for 20 years. Now, if you live here for 20 years, you have to be able to prove that you have lived there for 20 years. In most cases, that is difficult. Now, and if you have not lived there for 20 years, if you look at people who have lived there for 14 years or 15 years, out of the 20 years, that is a significant chunk of someone's life. Now, even if you want to apply to regularize your stay there, at that point, the law requires you to show that you will face very significant obstacles to relocating abroad. That is not easy to prove. That is one. So the law has been couched in a way that it is very difficult. If you came into the UK at the age of 30 and now you have to live here for 20 years as an overstayer before making an application, that means you'll be 50 years old. Now, when you apply, they will now place you on what is called a 10-year route to settlement. That means you have to be 60 before you get indefinite leave to, or about 62. So you are as old, ready to go home. Those are the part of it. Another thing is the cost of making an application to the Home Office. Now, if you look at it, you have a family of 6 applying for indefinite leave to remain. Each of them will be paying £1,875.
Wow.
And now multiply by 6. Now, plus other costs. Now, if you look at that, that is a lot of money. Now, if you look at people who are applying for leave to remain or further leave to remain, currently, most of them are paying £811 to make an application, and they pay £500 immigration health surcharge. That is 1311. So if you look at a family of 5, that is a lot of money. So a lot of immigrants who want to regularize their stay are facing challenges in getting in paying the cost to make the application and so it's not just making up the years, but even extending leave. I dealt with a client recently who wanted to renew her status with her 5 children. She's a single parent, wasn't able to get benefit because they put no access to public fund on there. That's one of the challenges. No access to public fund because she was on limited leave to remain, and she tried to change her status to be able to get access to a public fund, and they refused, and now she had to renew her leave with her children. 1311 multiplied by 5. It was difficult. So those are just a few that I can mention, but I could go on forever. But living in a foreign land, being able to comply with the immigration rule is an ever-present challenge to every immigrant who are yet to be settled in the United Kingdom.
Wow. If you've just tuned in, we are talking about immigration matters. And Mr. Dele, what are some of the mistakes immigrants do?
Mistakes. I remember when we used to study for O-level in Africa, there were some textbooks called Common Mistakes. common mistake. You remember common mistake in economics and things like that. Those little nuggets. I would say the mistakes immigrants make are legions. Many of them. First of all, they don't get legal advice. They don't get legal advice. And if you don't ask, you don't know. A lot of immigrants make the mistake of just doing things without seeking legal advice, because the importance of getting legal advice is that when you go for legal advice, first of all, it's like going for what do you, it's like going for a scan, or for doctors, a consultant to look at your situation. So what happens is that if you don't go, because when you go to a lawyer, a proper lawyer that knows what he or she is doing, they will tell you, you will tell them your immigration history. They will tell you, they will ask you all sorts of questions. Do you have a criminal record? How long have you lived there? Do you have evidence to show that you have been here? Are you married? Do you have children? They ask you all sorts of questions, and then they'll be able to tell you this is the application you can make. Or you should not make the application now, you can make it tomorrow. You can make it next year or in 2 years' time. It looks like a long time, but it's not very long, because sometimes you make an application, you are just throwing money away. A lot of people, they just listen to their advice from their friends at the tube station and people at their cleaning job, like I used to do in those days when I was cleaning on the underground and working at McDonald's. And they listen to their uncles who came here in the 1960s, who hasn't got a clue about immigration matters, and then they go and make an application. They say, don't use a lawyer. A lawyer is too expensive. And at the end of the day, they end up spending money 10 times over what it would have cost them if they had just obtained legal advice. That is one of the common mistakes. Another mistake made by immigrants is that they shred their documents. They work and they destroy the payslip, because a friend of theirs said that you must not be caught with that. But after many years, we are not encouraging people to come into the UK and not regularize their stay and be working without permission. That's not what we are doing. But after many years of living here, you develop what is called a private and family life. And to be able to prove that you have been here for many years, you need documentary evidence, like your utility bills, like your bank statements, like your council tax bills, like your pay slips, like your P60s. If you destroy them, that's a madman, a mad woman. How can you destroy your evidence? So without that, you will not be able to prove. So I see people who have lived there for 24 years, and they are only able to produce 2 T-Mobile bills. I mean, to me, that's crazy. It's
because of the advice they got from the uncle.
Yeah, and from the 2 station. People. So seriously, and this is what I encounter, and then we have to start looking down. And this person is qualified, and at the same time disqualified, because this is a country of documents. You have to prove it. So young men and women, friends, old men and old women, stop destroying your document. If they want to catch you with your document, let them catch you. But make sure you don't destroy. Only a madman going to a court destroys his evidence. Stop doing that. So they make that mistake. Another thing is that people use different names. I will never forget, some years ago, a client came to me and said he has 6 different names. And said to me, which name should I use? I said, you tell me, which of them is your name? And what I want to say to you, stick to one identity so we know who you are. So they make that mistake. They move from one house to the other. They destroy all the documents, and when it is time to make an application, they have nothing. I can go again on and on and on, because I'm like an immigration encyclopedia. I can just go and go and go, because every day I see this thing. They make that mistake. And another mistake they make is they don't go to the GP, sometimes for examination. So I remember someone was not able to prove anything. No, this is very funny, but it is real. And I said to you, okay, do you not have a GP? Oh, I had a GP when I came 17 years ago, but I've only been there one time, because Jesus is my healer. So I said, well, we have to ask for your medical evidence. We wrote to the GP. They said they
don't have records.
they deleted it. So, okay, Jesus is your healer, but if you know that you are yet to settle in this country, go to the GP, let them know that you are sick here. Because those are the official ways of proving that you are here. Those are so, I could go on and on and on. They make many mistakes like that. Sometimes they put their card details on an application form and they put the wrong card detail. They don't sign it, or they put money in their account and they go to Tesco. When the Home Office want to take their money from the account, the money is not there, and then they return the application and process. They become overstayers. Many mistakes. But with this program, we try to prove them right, and I know a lot of them are being educated now.
Yeah.
That next time they won't make the mistake.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Talk to Dell & Co Solicitors. We can professionally help you in the following areas: obtaining and/or extending your visa, asylum, humanitarian protection and discretionary leave, application for overstayers, immigration and asylum appeals, judicial review at the High Court, Tier 1 to 5 under the point system, including post-study work, fiancé visas, settlement applications, indefinite leave to remain, ILR, neutralisation, citizenship, entry clearance and appeal against visa refusals abroad, reconsideration of visa refusals abroad. In addition, we do other areas of law like family, traffic offences, employment, civil and criminal litigation and advocacy. If you need legal advice, call Dell & Co Solicitors now on 0208 880 9393 or visit our website www.dellsolicitors.co.uk. Dell & Co Solicitors, legal advice you can rely on.
I also want to tell you, why is the government clamping down on immigrants?
Right. It is an interesting point. But I want to say that Britain or the government, United Kingdom, cannot accommodate everybody. It cannot be a home to all. It cannot be a dumping ground for people who are frustrated with the maladministration of their home countries. So the government has a right to control the influx of foreign nationals into her territory. Just like we have the right to control who enters our house, and we have the right to prevent burglars from coming into our house, they have a right to do that. Now, that is number one, because they want to maintain the cultural identity of the country, so that you don't have things like that, which our uncle is getting angry with in America, Uncle Trump. He's saying that America is for Americans. Right? Do you understand? That is one. Number two, the government, they operate the system through budgeting, knowing and forecasting 5-year plan, 10-year plan, and based on the known and registered population in the country. So they want to know those who are able to have access to the social amenities, the NHS, the roads, the benefit system, housing, education, and health. Now, if they don't know who is here, they will not be able to project accurately. Also, the resources, the social amenities will be stretched beyond limit. And then you can hear recently, if you look at the news, you'll see that they are talking of the NHS being on the brink of collapse because they are being stretched, they have no money. So they are doing all this to control who lives here, so that the economy can be well managed and it doesn't go into bankruptcy. Also, they also want to make sure that the system is not infiltrated by Muslim extremists and criminals from other countries who cannot be really identify, people who have done or commit all sorts of heinous crimes abroad, and they come here to hide here. So they have a right to do that. But I always say that when they are doing that also, innocent people will suffer. And I always say that they should do it with a human face, so that the policy must not be so unreasonable to the detriment of people who are innocent.
So, regards to appeal, how can your firm assist people that are watching today?
With appeals, I mean, we operate a one-stop shop when it comes to immigration matters. In most cases, I'm the one that argues the case in court. So that makes it easy for us to be on top and to be abreast of the situation, in that we know the case, we know the client, we know their particular circumstances, and so Dell & Co. operate a one-stop shop in the area of immigration matters. We can advise on whether to appeal or to make a fresh application. We can also lodge an appeal and draft the grant of appeal on people's behalf, lodge the case with the court, prepare the case, and then on the case, do a conference with them, and then argue the case in court with the client. So when it comes to immigration matters, all aspects, we are always there.
And what about if they are not given the right of appeal?
As I said earlier, not being given a right of appeal is not the end of the world. The one thing about this advanced society is that they make provisions for one thing or the other. If this is not available, that is available until you exhaust all your options. If you are not given a right of appeal, you can challenge the decision with judicial review and move on from there. Judicial review is not an appeal, it's a means of challenging an unlawful act of an administrative body. So you can challenge that, and you can take it further, and later you can be granted a right of appeal, which will enable you to appeal against the decision. And if they don't, if you don't succeed with judicial review, you could go challenge it orally. If you exhaust that option, you can decide to make a fresh application. But as I said, the fact that you were refused in the past is not the end of the road.
So how can your firm assist such people?
If there's anyone that needs assistance, they can contact the office. They can book an appointment to see us, and they also can follow us on Facebook, on Google, on all the social media, on Twitter, and we tweet immigration also. so and everything, you can download it, you can WhatsApp it, anything you want to do, because the world is becoming advanced and we are moving with the time. So whatever is needed, Dell & Co. Solicitors, we are up to it.
I believe people have been really been educated today, and so what will be your final word for our wonderful viewers?
Immigration matters is always changing. This program has been going on for over 12 years, ever present, always there, able to make contribution to the society. Is the safest place to be. You have challenges, get legal advice. Don't change the dial also. Tell your friends, also tell your enemies about the program. It is educative, it is informative, it is ever reliable. Dell & Co. Solicitors, legal advice you can rely on. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Make sure you tune in another time for such educative program. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into The Legal Panorama, presented by Dele Olawanle of Dell & Co. Solicitors. Talk to Dell & Co. Solicitors. We can professionally help you in the following areas: obtaining and/or extending your visa, asylum, humanitarian protection and discretionary leave, application for overstayers, immigration and asylum appeals, judicial review at the High Court, Tier 1 to 5 under the point system, including post-study work, fiancé visas, settlement applications, indefinite leave to remain, ILR, neutralization, citizenship, entry clearance and appeal against visa refusals abroad. reconsideration of visa refusals abroad. In addition, we do other areas of law like family, traffic offences, employment, civil and criminal litigation and advocacy. If you need legal advice, call Dell & Co Solicitors now on 0208 880 9393 or visit our website www.dellsolicitors.co.uk. Dell & Co Solicitors, legal advice you can rely on.